The Watchtower repeats again falsehoods about Babylon the Great. Have you seen their latest issue of the Watchtower magazine? In the article, questions from readers. When will the nations proclaim peace and security? They again repeat their false understanding about the identity of Babylon the Great. It is not the religions of the world. It is so sad that they continue to teach that, because I have several times sent them proof, in letters, that Babylon the Great is something completely different than the world's religions. Jehovah's Witnesses' belief about Babylon the Great is not so different from other Christian religions. Adventists, for example, teach that Babylon the Great is the Catholic Church. How do we know from the Bible that Babylon the Great is not about religions of the world in general? There are several verses in Revelation chapters 17 and 18 that point to something else. The first verse that woke me up is Revelation 17 verse 18. This verse says what Babylon the Great is, not symbolically, but literally. It says, according to the New World Translation in English, the Bible translation Jehovah's Witnesses use themselves. And the woman whom you saw means the great city that has a kingdom over the kings of the earth. We should see that the symbol of Babylon the Great is the woman sitting on the beast, but that the meaning, the literal explanation of the woman is the great city that has a kingdom over the kings of the earth. It shouldn't be difficult to understand that the woman represents the most powerful and influential city in the world in the end times, because that is the explanation the angel gave to the Apostle John. It is stated plainly and simply in the verse we just read. In fact, chapter 17 presents the symbol of Babylon the Great as a woman sitting on a beast. But chapter 18 gives the literal prophecy of what will happen to the great city that is presented symbolically as a charming woman loved by the kings of the earth. Also, Revelation 18 verse 23 proves that Babylon the Great is not a symbol of the world's religions, because it says, "And by your spiritistic practices all the nations were misled." Religions of the world should not be equated to spiritism, because, for example, it is obvious that the world's Christian religions are not practicing spiritism. Instead, they condemn it. The New World Translation uses the term spiritistic practices in this instance, but other Bible translations use other terms here, such as sorcery, witchcraft, and magic. We know that Christian and other religions are usually against that. So Babylon the Great simply cannot be the world's religions. Additionally, the next verse, verse 24, also refutes that Babylon the Great is the world's religions, because it would imply that it is because of the religions of the world that all the killings and wars have happened. But that is simply not true. Think about the Soviet Union and similar countries. Religions of the world had very little influence on what happened there. It is so sad that the Watchtower continues to teach wrong explanations concerning Babylon the Great. They say they have the truth, but obviously they don't have all the truth. And the false teaching about Babylon the Great is a quite big deal. But I am optimistic that the truth will prevail. Jesus promised, "You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." And when that one comes, the Spirit of the truth, he will guide you into all the truth. In my previous videos, I have explained what other of the Watchtower's teachings are not true. So if you want to know more, be sure to check out my other videos on this channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.